But I have to tell you, so it really was a huge honor. I'd love to get to tell this story because one, I think this is cool. When I started playing music when I was in school at Harvard, Harvard of the South, which is Middle Tennessee State. Wow. When I was there in school, I started playing guitar and writing songs my freshman year there. And I didn't really start singing until like my sophomore and junior year. And the reason is because one of my huge dreams in life was actually write songs for the people. That's why I started playing and doing music in the first place. And so one of the cool things about what happened with Blake was that was actually this huge full circle where the reason that I started to write songs was realized after my life took this really cool path of me being an artist instead of just a songwriter. And so it was a huge honor, and it still is probably one of the coolest moments of my life, definitely my career, is having someone like that sing a song that I wrote. So it was a huge honor for me. I was thrilled when I heard he was going to do it. But I found out because one of my dear friends works at Warner Brothers, which is the label he's on in Nashville. So she called and told me, and I was so excited about this because I knew he was doing really well, and then they told me it was going to be a single, which means it was going to be the song they picked to be on the radio, which is, just so cool. How many people hear this song you wrote in a room by yourself, and then, like every now and then I pull up to somebody and it says stoplight and be playing, and I'm like, yeah. And then they would speed towards red light to get away. Nice move. Touche. I'm in this hotel in Minneapolis. I get the call from Kelly, our friend at Warner Brothers. She says, listen, I've got some great news. Blake is going to be playing God Gave Me You on the Today Show tomorrow. And I was like, well, which is it? And she said, well, the Today Show. And I was like, so it's already happened. She said, no, it's tomorrow. I said, well, that's impossible. We argued for about 3 minutes of what she realized I really didn't understand what was happening and had to sort of explain space-time continuum. So after that I was like, oh, okay, so it's on tomorrow morning. She said, yeah. And so I set my alarm for like 7 to wake up in time, but I was so excited I didn't sleep at all that night. Like I finally woke up at 5 that morning and was like, well, I'm up. And so I decided to go work out in the hotel gym. Came back, showered, was still too excited, worked out some more, came back and showered, and it was 5:17 roughly. So, after doing some wind sprints in the room and some stretches, my stage events, I went to, so the song comes on finally, I'm watching TV, and I'm dressed, and I've got cologne on, which was so weird because I was by myself. I felt like for some reason I needed to be presentable. I was like, oh, what if they come in here? I don't know if the crew was like, we found him! Apparently they were from Cuba, which is exciting. So I'm so excited, I'm waiting on this, for 3 or 4 hours, finally the show comes on, and they keep teasing, he's kind of sitting there giving those beautiful eyes to the camera, So the commercial comes, they're like, next, after this commercial, Blake Shelton sings this new song, God Give Me You, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And so I was like, I can't stay in this room by myself, I have to share this experience with somebody. So I knew where the communal hub of the hotel was, which we all know is the breakfast buffet. So, and really the social epicenter of the breakfast buffet is the waffle iron. We all know this. So, I made my way to the waffle iron and just sort of posted it up. I was like, hey, what's up, man? Batter up. I'm kidding. Too much famous. Too much batter, am I right? Fist bump? No? Okay, cool. Crank the TV volume. I turn on the Today Show, and I mean, it's at like airplane jet, engine loud. Like people are crying, blood's coming out of their eyes. Like that scene in Indiana Jones, and they pull the ark out of the, and so, thank you for one reference. You guys I don't know. And so we're kind of listening to it, and I'm like, wrote the song. People are like, okay, and they don't care. And this one guy walks up as he's making his waffle, and I'm like, I wrote this, and he goes, I bet you did. Well, he's there and you're here, right? And so the song is finally done. You know, I turn it back down. A couple people come over and kind of get it. They're like, oh man, congrats. I said, thanks so much. So as I'm walking back to the room, I past the, the lady at the front desk. And she's like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah. I said, did you hear that song? She's like, how could you not? Not laugh. She didn't laugh. And I said, yeah. I said, what'd you think about it? She's like, I didn't really like it. I was like, I hated it, but the guy in there wrote it. So I started crying. But thank you guys so much for coming. This is something.